Today's lesson is on graphs, tables, and equations. And so let's take a look at the first problem that we're going to end up seeing here. It talks about Lisa and Leon work at their uncle's store, and the table shows the hours Lisa worked X and the hours Leon worked Y each week. And so what we're asked to do is write an equation in two variables. And so what we're going to end up looking for is one of two things. We're either going to check for a common difference, in the x and y values, or a common ratio. And the common ratio would end up being y over x. And so I'm going to either do a y minus x for the common difference, and then I'm also going to end up trying a y over x. If I don't see a common difference, I'll try the common ratio. So let's go ahead and check for the common difference to start with. So we'll take the numbers, 5 minus 3, and we see that equals 2. Then I'll do the next one, 6 minus 4. So again, I'm just getting the numbers from the ordered pairs that are here, and just looking for a common difference. And you can see right away that I am getting a common difference of 2. And so basically it means that, if we look at Leon's, this last one though, 10 hours, and Lisa's 8 hours, when I subtract that, I always end up getting 2. So it looks as though Leon's amount is 2 more than Lisa's, or Lisa's is 2 fewer than Leon's. So now let's try to write an equation in that form. So remember, Leon is the y value, and we're trying to set that equal to Lisa, which is the x value, but they don't equal, so we need to do something to make them equal. And what it was the difference of 2 that we saw was that common difference. So what I need to do is add 2 to Lisa's amount, and that'll equal Leon's. And you see it works. If I go ahead and look at the number up here, the 3 plus 2 gives me 5. 4 plus 2 gives me 6. 6 plus 2 gives me 8, and so on. So I'm going to write the equation as y equals x plus 2, where Leon's amount of hours worked is equal to Lisa's hours worked plus 2 hours. So that's the writing of the equation. Now we get to graph it. So when I'm graphing it, I have my axes set up where my horizontal axis is Lisa's hours worked, and that's 3 spaces over, and then Leon's hours worked is 5 spaces up. And so it's right in between the 4 and the 6 there. And then I move on to the next one. It was 4 hours for Lisa, 6 hours for Leon. And then it's 6 hours for Lisa, and then I'm going over, looks like up 8 hours, and then over 8 hours for Lisa, up 10 hours for Leon. And then I've got some points which I can draw a line between. And the line's going to extend past those points. I'll just draw an arrow going out in this direction. This one arrow will go out and eventually end down in this region here on the y-axis. But we'll leave it like that for now. So the next set of questions asks us again to write and graph an equation from the data. So again, we're doing the same thing. We're looking for either a common difference or common ratio. So let's try it. So we're going to check for the common difference to start with. And so the common difference is just the difference between the y and x values. And so don't worry about the first one here. We'll start with it whenever we have zeros. We'll just leave those alone, and we'll go to the next one. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2, and 2 minus 6 is equal to negative 4. So you see right away, no, there are no common differences, none, we'll say. So we'll move on to the common ratio. Check for a common ratio. So the common ratio we're going to look at is y over x. And so when I do that, again, avoid any time we've got the zeros. We'll just ignore them for now when we have 2 zeros in x and y. So we'll just move on to the next one. So 3 over 1, and that makes 3. 6 over 2, and that makes 3. See, 6 divided by 2 makes 3. 9 divided by 3 makes 3. So you see, yes, we have a common ratio. So what that means is that we're going to multiply in order to get the y value. We're going to end up having to multiply the x value by some number. Now that common number is going to end up being 3 in this case. So notice how if I start at 1 for the x value, I multiply by 3, I get the y value. I get 3. And that's what it says here. 2 times 3 gives me 6. 3 times 3 gives me 9. And so that would be the equation. And we're also going to end up graphing that as well. So it looks like we'll do that on the next page. But let's go ahead and I guess we'll take a look and see if we can find that one. There it is. Actually, I have this picture right in here. I've already done that. So the graph would go this way. So we'll graph these points. 0, 0. 1, 3, so over 1 up 3 spaces. Hard to read where my points are, so I'll just make some here. So over 1 up 1, 2, 3. Over 2 up 6. There's going to be 4, 5, and 6, we'll say. And it looks like I'm going to run out of room for the 9. So I'll just leave it like that and draw a line between those points. Again, noting that it continues on forever in both directions. Let's go back to that other page and take a look at this one here. So 0, 3. So again, we're checking for common differences first. And I see that I'll go ahead and take the difference of these numbers. Now again, I didn't take the 0, 0 because that whenever I have both as the same, I just avoid those and just move on to the next one. So the common difference is 3. The next one's negative 2 take away 1, and that makes a negative 3. And let's check this next one. And negative 1 take away negative 4 makes negative 3. And the next one, negative 3 take away negative 6. Ends up giving me a positive 3. Actually, let's see here. This one's I think I had written one wrong, so let's go back real quick and check my math. See, this one here I started with y and then x. Here, again, I started with x and then y. So let's go ahead and fix this one right here. Let's do 1 minus negative 2, and that does make positive 3. Let's check my math over here again. Negative 1 minus negative makes plus positive, so that should be a positive 3 as well. And this one, negative 3 minus negative makes plus positive, so that's going to be a positive 3. So yes, after checking my math, I do see they have a common difference. So that means it's going to end up being a y equals x and then plus or minus some number. Well, in this case, it's going to be a plus 3 because if you look at the x value, it's less than the y value. So I need to add 3 to the x value to get the y value. 0 plus 3 makes 3. Negative 2 plus 3 makes 1. Negative 4 plus 3 makes negative 1. So those would be the equation there. And then they asked me to graph it. So let's go back to this other side here, and let's go ahead and graph 0, 3. So over 0, and then up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Over 2 to the left. So I'll go over 2 there, and then I'll go up 1 space. And then 4 to the left, and then down 1. So 4 to the left. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 1 space. And then 6 to the left. That's 4, 5, 6, and then down 3 spaces. And so it gets on a line, which is what it should, and we draw a line between those points and draw the arrow between those. Draw the line between those points and arrows at the end. Well, let's take a look at the next sort of problem that we'll end up seeing. And what's different about this is they give us the graph and they want us to write the equation but also table the units as well. So we're just labeling the ordered pairs here. So it looks as though this one is negative 2 for the x value, and it is 4 spaces up, so positive 4. It doesn't show that, but it looks as though it's just this space right here, which would have been 4. This is negative 1 for the x value, and it is 2 spaces up. And this next one, erase this mark there, and let's take a look at the next one, and we've got 0, 0. And then here we're over 1, down 2. And then we're over 2, down 4. And so that's the table of values. Let's take a look at the equation. So again, the equation, you're looking for common differences. So we're going to check for common difference first. And when I look at those common differences, I go 4 minus negative 2 makes positive 6. Add the opposite there to get that number. 2 minus negative 1. Well, right away I see, no, that makes 3. So no common difference. We're going to check for the common ratio now. So the common ratio is when I look for y over x and to see if those are the same, except I'm avoiding the 0, 0. So 4 over negative 2 makes negative 2. 2 over negative 1 makes negative 2. Avoid the 0, 0 again. and negative 2 over 1 makes negative 2, and negative 4 over 2 makes negative 2. So yes, we all have a common ratio. And so when I look at it, I'm trying to figure out what do I need to multiply by x value to get the y value. Well, if you look at it, negative 2 is the number, because if I multiply negative 2 by the x value, that common difference there is going to be the number that goes in front of the variable. See, x is negative 2 here. If I multiply by this negative 2, I'll get positive 4. Negative 1 times the negative 2 gives me 2. Of course, 0 times the negative 2 gives me 0. 1 times negative 2 gives me negative 2, and so on. So this would be our answer. Let's take a look at the next one. And it gives us another graph in which we can label some points. So we're going to go, how about negative 1, and we go down 4 spaces. And then we have 0, and we go down 3 spaces. We got 1, we go down 2 spaces. We got 2, and we go down 1 space. And the last one is 0 spaces, actually, I'm sorry, 3 spaces over. I was thinking of the y value as I did that. So 3 spaces over, and we end up going down 0. And so we got those plotted, so now we're just going to check for the common difference. Negative 4 take away negative 1. Add the opposite there, and I end up with negative 3. And then I have 0 take away negative 3, and add the opposite, I get positive 3. 1 take away negative 2, add the opposite, I get 3. So you can see I'm coming up with that common difference again. And so as I look at that, oops, I made that same mistake. You see, I had negative 3 here, 3, and then 3. So let's check and see what I did. I always need to start with my y, then my x. And I was doing that on the first one, but the second one I didn't do that with. So let's go ahead and cross that out. Negative 3 take away 0 does make negative 3. Negative 2, so I got to start with the y value. Negative 2 take away 1. I just have to be consistent, mainly. As long as I'm consistent, I'll get that answer correct. Negative 3, and let's just check the other ones for sake, and it goes negative 1 take away 2, add the opposite, we do get negative 3. 0 take away 3 does make negative 3 as well. So it looks as though my y value is going to end up being 3 less than the x value. So I need to take the x value, and I'm going to end up taking 3 away from that, and that will give me what that x value is. So x minus 3, and we'll check it. See, 0 for x, and you take 3 away, you get negative 3. That's right. 1 take away 3, negative 2. That would be correct as well. Well, check out the next lesson or next video tutorial for the last problem.